Hey food bloggers, thank you so much for joining me in this mindset and self-care focused episode here on Eat Blog Talk. One of the reasons I started Eat Blog Talk was to hold a space to talk about the importance of mindset and self-care. Being an entrepreneur can be a lot. If we are not taking care of ourselves, then getting actionable information about SEO, Pinterest, or whatever else is all moot. I will meet you back here every Wednesday to discuss various mindset and self-care topics, so you have the energy and space to tackle the rest.
Are you overwhelmed by the amount of unfinished posts in your computer? Do you sometimes wish you just had more available time? My name is Terrence Roche, and I am one half of the Plant Power Couple, a food blog I run with my partner Brittany. I am also a former English teacher who spent 20 years helping young writers find their voice. I currently offer freelance content writing and copywriting services for other bloggers. I can ghostwrite recipe posts, informative content, about me pages, LinkedIn bios, and more. If you have any old posts or outlines sitting in your backlog, I can help get those up on your site by writing SEO keyword-rich posts for you, freeing up your precious time for other personal or business endeavors. Feel free to reach out to me with any questions or to request writing samples and my rate sheet. You can contact me at terrence@plantpowercouple.com. That's TERRENCE@plantpowercouple.com.
Hello, food bloggers. Welcome to another self-care and mindset-focused episode of Eat Blog Talk. Today, we are going to talk about 5 phrases to reprogram your subconscious. We all have this unconscious programming, and it controls our thinking, and it controls our behavior, and it is called the subconscious. This is our own unique operating system that influences so much of our behavior and our thoughts and the reasons for acting certain ways or doing things or not doing things. Sometimes this operating system can get programmed during childhood or during times of trauma or early times in our lives, and we're not even aware that it is happening or that it has happened. We aimlessly wander around this planet, totally unaware of this unintentional programming. And honestly, some of it really sucks. Some of the programming is really bad and negative. And when we're unaware that it's even happened, that makes it really difficult to deal with. The good news is that we can change it, and that is what we are going to talk about today in this episode. I didn't know about this programming. I had heard about the subconscious in school and other places throughout my life, but I had never really been aware of what was going on until a few years ago when I started really digging into self-development and mindset. I started uncovering some of those baked-in beliefs I held about myself and about my life, and a few obvious beliefs emerged immediately for me. One had to do with something my parents, very unintentionally, I believe, programmed into me as a kid, and that is that working very, 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 very hard is essential for making money. And even when I work very, 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 very hard, there's still not much money. The other belief I think also probably came from my parents. Sorry, parents. By the way, a side note here, I do not blame my parents for any of this. And I know this was all unintentional programming. I believe it's really, really important not to blame the people or situations in our lives for this programming, because most of the time they are completely unaware that they did it. The second belief that I uncovered was that I don't deserve to have nice things. I don't deserve to have an easy, fun life. That, in my old programming, was considered sinful, indulgent, and just plain wrong. After I uncovered these very false beliefs, I started thinking about it and realized what crap all of it was. That is not the way life is meant to be lived. I believe that God created all of us to live lives filled with fun, beauty, love, abundance, and things that make us happy, joyful, peaceful. That does not align with that programming that had been a part of my operating system for so many decades. I got really interested after that in learning how to change this because I knew that it was possible. I had read stories where other people had changed their programming. I made the decision to consistently work on this, and I've done so for the past few years, and it has really paid off. One of the things that has made the biggest difference is the process I'm going to talk through in this episode. So being aware of certain triggers, the triggers lead to phrases that I repeat to myself and that I recommend you trying as well. I do this either in my head or out loud throughout the day. And these phrases that I say or think elicit emotion because I think ahead to the outcome when they come to mind. The more emotion I feel when I think or say these things, the more deeply etched my reprogramming is. Over time, this has helped me to reprogram my subconscious and my old operating system and beliefs. I do this consistently. Now I'm in the habit of it. So I literally say these things to myself every day. And just to note, there's never an end with this. It's always a journey. I'm always learning and you will always be learning too. I'm going to talk through 5 phrases to repeat to yourself, what triggers to look for that will lead you to these phrases, how to amplify their power through emotion, and how these phrases will reprogram your own personal subconscious operating system. Number 1 is I choose love. The trigger that is going to lead you to this sentence is, unfortunately, fear. Fear shows up in an array of ways in our lives. Do you agree? And fortunately, for this exercise, fear shows up in an array of ways in your life. This is going to provide you a lot of opportunity to work on this particular piece of reprogramming. And just to point out that fear doesn't always mean a fear of safety or being afraid. It can show up in so many different ways in our lives, and I'm going to name just a few. These relate a lot to entrepreneurs. I think that as I talk through these, you'll be able to relate to a lot of them. Perfectionism, fear of rejection, fear of discomfort, fear of experiencing emotional pain, fear of the unknown, overwhelm, comparison, fear of failure, fear of success, fear of people talking badly about you, either behind your back or to your face, anxiety, and I literally could go on and on. There are so many ways to describe fear. Fears lead to inaction, and we all know what inaction leads to: no forward movement with anything worthwhile. Fear is definitely something we want to get rid of, and the easiest way to do that is to code our subconscious with its polar opposite, which is love. Inviting love into your day or your life, fear has to go away. Where there is love, there is no fear, and where there is fear, there is no love. When you notice one of these triggers with any of these forms of fear or any form of fear, say or think this sentence: I choose love. Personally, when I notice fear popping up in my life in any form, which honestly is frequently, I acknowledge it. If I start feeling a fear of failure with a project I've started, for example, which is keeping me from taking action, I just call it out. Usually I just think this, but it'll go something like this. Hey, fear, I see you. I acknowledge you. I know that you are not serving me. I choose love. If I'm really deep into the fear, which definitely happens, I may need to repeat this a few times before it goes away. Sometimes I just stop what I'm doing and close my eyes or meditate and say it until it's gone. And I'll be honest with you, sometimes it does not go away. It is that powerful at times. But every time I say it, I am more deeply etching that programming of my operating system, letting it know that I choose love. I do not choose fear. Those two things cannot coexist. By saying this simple phrase to yourself, you are envisioning elevated love in your life, diminished fear in your life, and this evokes emotion. Allow yourself to really feel this. Sit with this really powerful emotion for as long as you can in order to amplify the impact this message has on your subconscious mind. Number 2, more of this, please. The trigger that will lead you to this phrase is gratitude. This is a good trigger. It's not a bad trigger like fear. This is probably the easiest phrase you can repeat because, good news, there are always so many things in your life to be grateful for. We just need to train ourselves to see them sometimes. Purposefully look for things to be grateful for all the time. Make this a habit and it will serve you in the best way. When you come across a moment when you are feeling particularly grateful about something, just take a pause, stop and acknowledge what is happening and say the sentence, more of this, please. You can also just say thank you. I like more of this, please, because it's an expression that, yes, I'm grateful, but I also want more of this feeling or more of what I'm grateful for. Sit with that feeling, even if it is just a few seconds. Feel it and say it as many times as you need to. More of this, please. This will send a recode message to your subconscious, letting it know that, number one, yes, you are deeply grateful for said thing, person, situation, fill in the blank. And number two, you desire more of this feeling and this thing, person, situation, fill in the blank. I believe that gratitude is the easiest way to stir up emotion because it can be very powerful. When you feel that immense gratitude for something, it is a wow, magical moment. There is nothing like a deep feeling of gratitude. So when that emotion hits you, sit with it for as long as you can. Riding that wave of emotion as you repeat all of these phrases to yourself will give them a boost of power, which will deeply etch them into your subconscious programming. Number 3, details and action. The trigger that will lead you to this phrase is just noticing a detail that needs your attention. There are so many details in life that we tend to regularly, and there are so many details that we are prone to ignoring. When we ignore the details that need our attention, though, that sends a message to our subconscious that we don't have the time or energy or bandwidth or motivation or patience or whatever to take care of the details in our lives that are here now. The message is this: I'm at my limit with taking care of the details, so please don't send me any other details to manage. This message cuts off opportunities, it cuts off projects, it cuts off people that could potentially be really valuable parts of our lives. Instead, we want to send this message: I take care of the details in my life, and I am ready to take care of more in order to open up time, space, and energy for receiving good things. These are going to be different for all of us, but here are a few examples of details that can act as a trigger in everyday life. Seeing a wrapper or a piece of garbage on the floor that needs to be thrown away. For most of my life, I have stepped right over those wrappers. Also noticing that files on your computer, your desktop, are just a mess and they need to be cleaned up. Taking in the mail, the garbage, the coffee cups, whatever is in your car, taking all of that out of your car when you get home versus just leaving it there to take care of later. Saying the thing you know you need to say to somebody in a conversation, but you really don't want to. Wiping the crumbs off the counter that drive you nuts, but that aren't killing anyone. We all have our own unique details that we see regularly and that we know we need to pay attention to. You know your details, choose to see them, acknowledge them, and choose to act on them. Most details take the tiniest amount of effort and time to take care of, sometimes just moments. When you are in the habit of doing this, your subconscious will get the hint, and your new programming will be coded with the belief that you are a person who pays attention to the details and you take action on them. As you see and act on those details throughout the day, repeat this sentence: details and action. When you stop to pick up the tissue remnants from the floor that your dog stole from the trash, oh my gosh, that's me all the time, say to yourself, details and action. When you put away the laundry that's staring at you, instead of waiting till the last minute right before bed, details and action. When you bring up something to your spouse you've been avoiding because you didn't want to rock the boat, details and action. When you take 15 minutes to reply to emails instead of letting them pile up for another day, again, me, details and action. And to tap into the emotion, think about the opportunity this reprogramming is going to open up for you and the new friends or the new projects or the money that is going to come your way because of it. This is exciting. Feel that emotion as strongly as you can and sit with it for as long as you can. Number 4, I am a money magnet. The trigger leading to this phrase is finding money. This one is so much fun. It is such a fun way to program your subconscious to believe that it is easy to attract money. We all experience those times when we find money in the street or in our car, or we receive an unexpected deposit in our bank account, even if it's 2 cents from your Amazon affiliates program, or if someone hires you out of the blue for something that you really enjoy doing. It's really easy for us to express confusion and maybe even disbelief when these things happen, which sends the message to our subconscious that this isn't normal. Receiving unexpected money is confusing and even uncomfortable. Instead, express joy and deep appreciation every time money comes into your life. This reprograms your subconscious to believe that receiving money, both expected and unexpected, is normal it's fun, and that you are a living, breathing money magnet. If you are not used to doing this, start by just being on the lookout for money that shows up in your life. Even if it is that 11 cents from Amazon or a penny on the street, when you see it, gasp as if it has shown up just for you, because it has. Pick it up if it's a penny, or if you're looking in your bank account, just give it your attention. Spin it around in your fingers a little bit in wonder and just say the sentence, I am a money magnet, because in that moment, it is the absolute truth. The money that you are looking at has been drawn to you. You have magnetized it. You are indeed a money magnet. Tapping into the emotion, the idea of being an actual money magnet is super exciting. Am I right? Sit with this emotion for as long as you can, and before you know it, you'll start magnetizing even more money and in greater amounts. When your subconscious believes that you are a money magnet, you literally become a magnet to attracting money. I have to share this story here because it is so fitting and perfect for what we're talking about. A few years ago, on our yearly vacation to Montana, I happened to be working on money mindset stuff at the time. So I was working through this very exercise of just seeing all the money that showed up in my life, acknowledging it and being grateful for it. And honestly, I've never looked back. I still do this. I appreciate every penny I find. Everything that shows up in my bank account that is green gets so much appreciation and gratitude from me. But this particular vacation, I was really just starting to learn about all of this. I walked our dog one morning by myself, and I looked down on the street and happened to see a very shiny nickel. I picked it up in awe and said something like, I am a money magnet. I value you. And I put it in my pocket. And I kept walking. A little while later, I saw a dime, another shiny coin, and I did the same thing. Later that evening, I took an evening walk with my oldest son, Elijah. We were walking side by side, and I told him the story about finding the nickel and the dime earlier. The way I told the story, it seemed like I had found $1 million in the street, and he was looking at me like I was absolutely crazy, because we all know 15 cents isn't much in the grand scheme of things, but I was super excited about it, and I didn't let his look dampen my enthusiasm. I am not kidding you, you guys. 10 seconds later, we both looked down to find a $20 bill lying in the street. We stopped, we looked at each other and literally gasped. I did my usual. I said, I'm a money magnet, except this time I was way more excited. I picked it up and I started to put it in my pocket when Elijah said, can we share it? And before I could even think, I blurted out, but there's more for you. I don't even know where that came from, and I didn't know what I meant by it, but we started walking, and like 2 seconds later, we both saw another $20 bill in the street ahead of us. I am not lying. You can ask Elijah. He'll back me up on this. That $20 bill was his. Number 5, I live a life of ease. The trigger that will lead to this phrase is something happening with greater ease than you imagined or expected. A quick disclaimer on this one. If you already feel like you live a life of ease, replace the word ease with whatever it is that you're seeking in your life. Maybe it's abundance or good people or wealth or love. Whether it's ease you are seeking or something else, be on the lookout for those times when that thing comes to you. Let's say you always feel rushed and stressed in the mornings, and you've just come to expect that. Your subconscious mind believes that mornings are crazy, but one morning, everything aligns and nothing is crazy. You wake up feeling rested, the kids are in good moods. Oh my gosh, I wish they were in my house every morning. They helped put breakfast dishes in the dishwasher. They got off to school on time. Everything was just flowing seamlessly. If you notice what just happened and label it as strange or out of the ordinary, guess what you are programming into your subconscious? You are programming it to believe that crazy is normal and easy is strange. Instead, acknowledge it and say this sentence: I live a life of ease. This sends new programming to your subconscious, letting it know that this is the way life is meant for you. Mornings are meant to be easy. Life is easy. It does not have to be hard. You live a life of ease, and that is safe and that is good. When you can really believe that, lean into how good that feels. When you've experienced times of unease, then you will feel even more grateful for those times when things unfold really easily. So allow yourself to feel this really deeply and sit with that emotion for as long as you can. Those are the 5 phrases. We'll run through them to recap really quick. The first phrase to reprogram your subconscious is, I choose love. The second is, more of this, please. The third, details and action. The fourth, I am a money magnet. And the fifth is, I live a life of ease, or fill in the blank with whatever you want more of in your life. Training yourself to be aware of the triggers and then allowing yourself to say the phrases that will lead to experiencing that deep emotion will help you to reprogram your subconscious in the best way. This is going to give you a whole new operating system, opening up time, space, opportunities, all of the good things that you want to invite into your life. Your subconscious is a really powerful little system. We just need to program it with those thoughts and beliefs that are going to serve us. It might take some time for you to get into the habit of finding the triggers and then saying the phrases, and you will probably come up with your own phrases, and that is totally fine. Be as consistent as possible with it every day, and you will notice changes in your life. Really positive, awesome changes. Thank you so much for listening, food bloggers. Please feel free to provide feedback about this new mindset and self-care focused format. Let me know if you have any self-care or mindset topics you would like me to cover. Send me an email at megan@eatblogtalk.com. Thank you so much for listening to this mindset and self-care episode here on Eat Blog Talk. If you are a food blogger providing a service for other food bloggers and you want to spread the word about the value that you offer, I would love to offer you a free way to do just this. Send me a 60-second audio clip to be featured in a mindset and self-care episode here on Eat Blog Talk in 2024. Go to eatblogtalk.com/audio clip to learn more.